Okay. All right, good evening. I want to call the public portion of our Selectmen's meeting for Tuesday, August 18, 2015 to order. The board actually commenced the meeting this evening at 6 p.m. and conducted some interviews for various appointments on town committees, and we just concluded that interview session. What I'd like to do now that we are in our business portion of the meeting and we're televising is we always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to invite all of you that are here with us to join. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you. I also want to note at the outset, you see before you only 4 of our 5 selectmen. Selectman Wentworth is out of town this evening, so he will not be present. That hopefully won't interfere with our conducting business. We have a number of public hearings to tend to this evening. The first one is scheduled for 7 p.m. It involves the new or proposed or in development Wamisit Entertainment Center. The first hearing pertains to a liquor license. I am required to read the full hearing notice. While I'm doing that, I invite any representatives. Mr. Monterey, would you mind moving that chair out of the way too, if you don't mind? Thank you. I'd invite any representatives of Wamisit Entertainment Center to come forward. Is there anyone here from there? Okay. I'm going to start reading that. So notice is hereby given in accordance with Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws that a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, August 18, 2015 at 7 p.m. on the application of Wamisit Entertainment Center, Inc. by Donald R. McLaren, manager, for permission to sell all alcoholic beverages as common victualler on premises located at 434 Main Street, Tewksbury, Massachusetts, and described as mixed-use family leisure time activity center consisting of 36 lanes for candlepin and 10-pin bowling, an arcade area, an indoor golf simulator area, dining area and bar, main restaurant, a bocce court, an outside patio for seasonal dining, full-service kitchen. The hearing will be held in the Selectmen's Meeting Room at the temporary Town Hall, 464 Main Street in Tewksbury, 01876. Input is welcome from the public. The board recommends that comments be submitted in writing to the Selectmen at Town Hall, 1009 Main Street, Tewksbury, on or before noontime last Friday, August 14, 2015. So before I read the hearing, I invited representatives of Wamisit Entertainment Center to come forward. I see you now are here, hopefully. So could you do us a favor for the record? This is being televised, and also we have to record some minutes. If you could give us your names for the record, gentlemen. Thank you.
My name is Donald McLaren. I'm Donald R. McLaren.
Well, welcome to you both. The first matter that we are describing or taking action on tonight pertains to the liquor license that you've applied for. So I know my colleagues and I are fairly familiar with your project next door, and we certainly want to welcome you this evening, and we look forward to welcoming you as a business owner. In that context, I know you're currently a business owner as well here in town. But for the benefit of the community as a whole, do you want to give us a description of what you're doing next door and why you're asking for a liquor license?
Yeah, we've built a family entertainment center. We have 36 lanes of bowling. We have 8 lanes of private lanes for private functions, companies. We have another 12 lanes of candlepin and another 16 lanes of 10-pin in the open part of the house. We have golf simulators. We have a 5,000 square foot arcade with 62 #1 arcade games in the country today. We have 2 pubs, one in the golf simulator room, one in the main room. That we have, we've got micro brews and just an average thing. We have a 3,000 square foot kitchen. We're able to cater to any company. Obviously, we look forward to dealing with corporate companies. That's why we've given so much of a select. On the outside of the building, we have 2 bocce courts against the side of the building. We have a 50 by 50 patio with 3 large fire pits that have couches around them. 2 of them are round, one of them is a bar style that just sits outside. And we have a couple of tables for dining, appetizers, whatever you want. We have outdoor seating around the front of the building. You'll see the pillars that come around and wrap around for people that want to sit out on the deck part of the building itself.
Okay.
And then the patio, like I said, then everything is lawn and screened in and down the side of our place.
Okay.
We have state-of-the-art bathrooms, everything non-touch, enormous. We have private bathrooms for our private rooms. And obviously, we're trying to make a building that looks presentable to the town as well. It's a state-of-the-art, there's no there's carpets in the arcade, but it's all hardwood floors. It's a little bit different than normal. We have the only facility in the country that's 100% handicap. There's not an elevation change from the parking lot through our entire building. So no matter where, if you're handicap related, you can get to the bowling alleys, the bathrooms, the coolers, whether you work there, whether you don't work there. There's not an elevation change in our entire building. So that's one of the things we're proud of, and my son could elaborate if there's something that I miss, he knows a little better than I do.
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much covered it.
So, which of you is going to be the manager for purpose of the alcohol?
My son.
Is that your son? Okay. So if you don't mind, just, do you have any experience in managing the service of alcohol? We're curious about, in the context of your, capacity to monitor the distribution of alcohol and that kind of thing, if you can speak to that.
Yeah, I went down to a bowling center management course in Texas, one of the best that you can go to. Spent a week out there, learned all of the tricks of the trade, the rules. Got to actually work in a facility, shadow management, in 2011, 2012, Family Entertainment Center of the Year. Shadow management and ownership of that. Got to oversee the bar operations, got to get hands-on, use the POS systems, and actually learn some of the different rules around the rest of the country and to find out Massachusetts is very strict. So it was nice to actually have a little bit of experience in that, but I have some certifications within the bowling industry and some within some liquor management. So
Great. Have you endeavored to become TIP certified here in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Okay, great.
If I can interrupt a little
Absolutely.
bit, we've hired some of the people, we don't claim to, we've hired managers, we've hired beer and beverage people, we hired a couple of girls out of Vespa that run the 2 main houses and do that. Like I said, we're managing the place, but we put the right people in place that have done it their whole lives. We have a girl that manages the bowling alleys with 28 years experience in Brunswick. We have mechanics, we have 2 girls that run the food and beverage part of our facility that have 30 years of experience. So we're trying to put the right places. We haven't got a head chef yet, but most of the other, besides my son, Eddie Sheehan and Steve Bourgeois, which is the main part of our management team, and Neil Malatesta, we have all the pieces in place. We're just trying to make, because we're going to employ over 100 people.
Sure.
So we just, like I said, we don't claim to have all the answers, but we're putting a good team together to,
Bring the right people in, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
Good for you. One last question, and then I'll ask my colleagues. You mentioned about fire pits and outside, so just explain, at least right now, in terms of a liquor license, you're obviously going to have service inside.
yep.
But what's your intention relative to the exterior of the building, as it pertains to the service of alcohol?
Everything that we do is, we have waitresses to serve everybody. If you wanted to sit out at the fire pit and have a drink, our waitress service will bring it out to you and everything else. They're not, the fire pits, I don't want to get the misconception, they just run on gas. They're all encased in glass in the center part of it. And it's really just a round table. You sit back off it. Even if you spill your drink in it, it can't go any farther than the contained area that they're put in. They're just decorative, but they're nice ambiance to sit by at night and stuff like that. There's not a huge flame to come out of it. It's just the look of it and everything else is sitting around it. The bar part of it is the same idea with the glass protective barriers, but more of a standing up type of thing if you're walking out. The two round ones we have are just couches that go around that, and it's just for the comfort of sitting out. And if you don't want to do anything, have anything, you just want to come by and have a drink. It's just the luxury of those couple months of sitting outside and enjoying, having a drink by the fireside. No
And
more.
will those be located in the front of your building or in the rear?
On the side.
On the side?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so I'll note that we have commentary from all the department heads attached. I also will note that there were 4 abutters who were notified of this hearing, and I'll come back and ask for public comment in a minute, but let me just ask if my colleagues have comments. Mr. Gage?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. People are very enthusiastic about your opening. When do you plan on actually opening the facility?
We have our soft opening scheduled for the beginning of October, most likely grand opening in the middle of October, as long as construction keeps moving along a little.
We have a couple soft openings for local businesses. It was the first one we want to do. Before we open, we have a huge project set up for the Wounded Warriors Project. That'll be our #1 kickoff. Once we perfect that, hopefully before the 15th of October, we'll be ready for the open public. But we'd like to do 2 or 3 soft openings to raise some money for some local charities. But the first one is really friends, family, and businesses in town, to try to show them what we have and try to perfect what we have to do. So we're looking at 2 or 3 soft openings to try to make sure we got everything in place and we don't embarrass ourselves right out of the gate too. The building will be spectacular. We want to make sure their experience is also spectacular.
My other question was, maybe it's in this literature, but I didn't see it. What are the defined hours for the serving of your alcohol?
They've applied for a full license, David, so it would be consistent with the town's hours that are in effect for all licenses.
Okay, so, right, so.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
Okay.
We have stipulations, a couple of things that we worked out, like I said, with the neighbors, there's no alcohol outside after 12 o'clock. I talked to my neighbors earlier today. Another one of the things that's in the things that we've agreed to is we have a part of the whole, that's the entertainment part, sorry.
Right.
I can't, yeah.
We'll get to
I don't want to get ahead of myself,
Yeah.
I just wanted to try to put everybody's, that we're willing to work with something that we'll be more than happy to listen and make sure everybody's happy with what we're doing.
There are standard hours of liquor service. Off the top of my head, I don't recall exactly the cutoff time,
So it would coincide with.
but it would be what those are, unless there was a special request, which there isn't.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Anyone to my right?
Yeah, I have
Mr. Kraft?
a couple of questions. Serving liquor outside, not that I have a concern, but we have a number of businesses that do sell liquor outside. Just, is there be a way, do they remain in the facility that's, they can't get to the parking lot?
They can't get to the parking lot. Everything's fenced in, locked gates. The only way you can get in is through the bar, the only way you can get back out of the building is through the bar.
We have emergency exits
Yeah.
in case of an emergency, but on the fences, but it's also included inside.
And you mentioned you're gonna hire over 100 people. How many locals are you gonna be hiring out of?
We're hoping that at least 75% of the 120 people we plan to employ, I hope that 90 will come from Tewksbury. I think that's pretty much the thing. It might be more than that, but a lot of it's high school kids, runners, bringing food. So, and then waitresses and stuff like that. But our object, 90% of the people that built the building are from Tewksbury. We've tried to keep everything in town. And 3/4 of everything that's built there is built by somebody in this town.
So that's excellent news, because we definitely need the jobs for the kids, so that's good news. Thank you.
That's great.
Plenty for them to do.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, this is a public hearing. Abutters were notified of this particular hearing, but any resident who has an interest in this has the right to register any concerns or comments. So before the board takes any votes or actions, I want to offer that opportunity to those of you who are with us here in person tonight. This would be the time to raise your hand if you have any concerns. Sir, come on, just come on up to that microphone, okay? And if you would do me a favor and just give us your name and address for the record, that would be helpful.
Okay. My name is Chris Colantonio, and I am a part owner of the Tewksbury Forest and Greenery, which is in a butter to the west.
Yep.
Basically, this is something we've already discussed, but I don't know if we could be part of the permit. We had discussed putting in, my parents had discussed putting in an 8-foot fence along the property line, just to keep out, so people don't throw beer ball, just to keep the two properties separate. And I know that it's already been agreed to between us, but I don't know, is it able to be part of the permit or not really at this juncture?
To my knowledge, probably not, because
Okay.
this is a liquor license that's governed by state statute.
All right.
The local control that we have is really the fitness for the applicant to actually manage and serve alcohol.
All right.
So I would trust your mention.
No, I think
I would
we're fine. I
ask
just didn't know.
Mr. McLaren,
No,
you've agreed to do that?
We have no issues with that at all.
Great. So, in
No, I just figured I'd ask, but thank you very much.
And before you step away, I know we're focusing on another, very positive, hopefully very positive business for Tewksbury. It sounds like a lot of people are going to be employed there, and hopefully our community will support it as patrons. But I know you represent, I see you're here with your brother. I'm a frequent customer of your facility, and you're a very valued employer here in town and contributed to our community as well. So
Well, thank you very
we want
much.
to make sure that as neighbors, we're in the right place together. So thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for speaking on that. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm going to ask my colleagues to offer a motion relative to the liquor license. It's an all alcoholic beverages license for Wamisit Entertainment Center, Inc. And then we'll move on.
I will make a motion to approve the liquor license for Wamisit Entertainment Center.
Second. All right, so we have a motion made by Mr. Gay, seconded by Mr. Panelitis. And I will ask all those in favor, please, to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair will vote aye as well, and we'll know for the record that Selectman Wentworth is not present. So that was a vote of 4-0. Don't move, stay right there. We're gonna move to the next hearing. You have to forgive me, I have to read this notice, very similar to the last one, but we want to get it into the record. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, August 18, 2015 at 7:20 p.m. on the application of Wamisit Entertainment Center, Inc. by Donald R. McLaren, manager, for an entertainment license from Thursday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. for live music, dancing by patrons, amplification system, light show, recorded music, dancing by entertainers or performers, audio-visual show, whether live or recorded, in the lounge area of the restaurant and outside patio dining area on premises located at 434 Main Street, Tewksbury, Mass. The hearing will be held in the Selectmen's Meeting Room located Temporary Town Hall, 464 Main Street, Tewksbury, Mass. Input is welcome from the public. The board recommends that comments be submitted in writing on or before noontime on Friday, August 14, 2015. So, we already have your names for the record. You basically, when you applied, you covered all of the bases. So, similar to the first question I asked you on the liquor license, describe what you're trying to accomplish with the entertainment license, the various aspects of
We
it.
talked to our neighbors tonight as well, and I'd like to explain it to you. We're not looking to have live bands out there. We're looking to have, we have a small setup inside. We're looking for acoustical guitar, just something that changes the melody. We're not looking to shake up the neighborhood, we're not looking at anybody. Maybe one night out at the fire pit, somebody's out there with a guitar. It's not blaring light shows and everything else. It's a low key. We have a small stage inside. Like I said, the most it would ever be is 2 people playing acoustical guitars inside, 1 person outside. I spoke to my neighbors earlier. I don't means want to disrupt anything that way. It's just something low key to listen to some light music while you're having a drink. The live bands, that's not what we're interested in doing. So, but like I said, it's always nice on a Thursday and Friday night to have some type of live entertainment for the patrons. Whether we have it every night, and we might only have it once a week, but it's the luxury of having it. But we're not looking to put bands outside.
As you go outside with, you mentioned acoustical guitars, do you anticipate the use of amplification systems outside?
I think the only thing that comes amplified is whatever they play off of, but like I said, it's not to the point, nobody likes loud music when they're sitting to have a drink. And then the last thing I want to do is disrupt my neighbors next door as well. So we're not looking to blast, like I said, and we're just covering our bases, so whatever comes down the future that we decide to have. But our goal, it never has been, is to have bands and blaring things out there. So like I said, I told my neighbors tonight that I would take it off the table. All we're looking for is somebody to sit outside with an acoustical guitar. And once in a while inside, we might have a comedian. We might have a couple guys playing the guitar at the bar. But as far as live bands, we'll never have it. We don't have the room to, and that's not what we're looking to do.
I can tell you and those who are here paying attention, and we'll certainly offer folks an opportunity to comment. I think this board, as it relates to entertainment licenses, the area that we find ourselves often asked about concerns is particularly when it gets into areas of outside music.
Yep.
And the noise, particularly, at nighttime when noise carries a little bit more.
Yep.
So we have a number of establishments in here in town that are otherwise good, productive, positive members of our community, but their location abuts residential areas, and we often run into that kind of friction. So it's a very delicate area, and I would encourage you, it sounds like you're saying all the right things, but I would encourage you to have good dialogue with your neighbors.
Exactly. I'm not looking
considerate,
to,
yeah.
I'm not looking, all I'm trying to do is entertain my guests that come in on a low-key thing, so
Yeah.
I'm not looking to disrupt anybody, whether it's my neighbors at Tewksbury Forest or it's neighbors across the street. That's not my intentions. I haven't had any negative feedback. I don't want to do something now that gives anybody negative feedback. It's been a positive experience for us throughout. And like I said, that's not what we're looking for. It's just, like I said, covering the bases that way. But that, like I said, I don't care what you take off the table that way. That's our intentions, however you want to word it, I'm fine with it. It's just somebody sitting outside playing guitar, low-key. And then, like I said, we have a couple of things inside going on, whether it's a comedian or something like that, that's all be inside, so.
Okay. All right, let me ask my colleagues first, before we ask members of the public. Any questions or concerns, Mr. Panelitis?
Yeah, I have no concerns, but just related to that license, and I understand Mr. McLaren's point regarding what the intentions are, but the license as issued would allow for bands, would allow for those things. If they were to change their mind, that license would allow for that.
If the board approves the application as presented, the board at its discretion could limit the hours or limit the varied requests.
Yeah, I mean, everything that they're presenting sounds great, and I have no concerns, but.
And we don't have any concerns. If you want to limit it to no bands and stuff, we have no issues with that at all. We explain that to our guests. What we're looking for is exactly what it is. If you want to word it that way, so there's no confusion down the road, I got no issue with it whatsoever.
Scrap
The renewal of the license, when would that, is it a yearly license that we renew it?
annually.
Annually? So seeing that this is opening this fall, you know, we can take it as it goes and.
Yeah, once the license is issued, to make a change, you'd have to have a hearing and bring the party in to make that change. So your opportunity to put any restrictions, if that's what you're asking about, would be at the outset of the license.
Okay.
Mr. Gay?
No, I think the outdoor acoustic music is a great plan, and I think if it sticks to that plan, just as you had presented it, I think everybody will be fine with that.
And that's all we're looking for.
Yeah, so it
All it
sounds
was
like-
worded, apologize for that, but that's our intention.
Yep, so I think people would appreciate that, I think you'd
Yep.
get a good response.
Yep,
Thinking of what you're planning to do.
When applicants file these, they can cause some concern and alarm, so regardless of what we do, it really boils down to how you interact with your neighbors and how you conduct your business affairs. And if you're responsive to their concerns,
yep,
and you're attentive to, their concerns, then, everything will be fine. But
yep.
I would hate to see any of us that are here tonight back here in 6 months or a year having a discussion because of, noise, noise concerns or something. So this board doesn't control that, you do, really,
No.
at the end of the day.
We accept full responsibility for that. And hopefully, whatever we do, we can always work out together. So,
All right, so a number of abutters were notified, as is required by the statutes that govern this process. And I'm not going to read all of the addresses, but there are a number of streets involved: Lorem Street, Colab Street, Edward Street, Main Street, Gessner, Suite 500. Oh, I'm sorry, that's in Houston, Texas. So someone has some property ownership. 7th Street, Edward Street, Main Street again, Marshall, Kennedy Road, Marston Street, Andover Bypass, so someone in North Andover owns some property nearby, etc. So a number of property owners and abutters were notified. So this is the opportunity for those residents or anyone else from town that wants to speak to this issue. I want to give you an opportunity to, again, come forward and express your concern, if any. Go ahead, if you come on back up. Thanks again.
Hello, Chris Colantonio, one of the owners of Tewksbury Forest and Greenery. Again, like Mr. McLaren said, we're all in agreement. I think we're all good with just the outside acoustic music, but we would like the variance or the permit to be written that way, if it could be, just in case transfer ever gets made to someone else, we might not have the same agreement with them. And that way, if it's already in the agreement, only outside acoustic, they're pretty much bound by that.
Okay.
All right?
We'll certainly consider that. You're agreeable to that?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so exterior acoustic, I'm gonna write this down and make sure we got this right. Acoustic music only in the exterior, is that acceptable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just related to that, does that mean you're not gonna mic if that person's playing a guitar, you're not gonna mic them so that they can be heard if they're singing?
Yeah, I mean, there's still gonna be,
So there's
technically
some
it's still
amplification
amplified,
there.
but
Right.
it's
So
gonna be
you just
limited
have to be
to
clear, I
an
think,
acoustic
right, so
guitar.
you don't inadvertently limit
Right,
too much, but then, or not too little.
exactly. The other thing is the fence that we put up around the perimeter, it's 8 feet tall, obviously to help with the lighting, but it's also insulated with soundboarding to try to deflect as much noise from them as possible. So, it's a double-sided vinyl with the insulation on the inside of it, so hopefully, any even noise chatter of people talking doesn't disrupt, them at all.
So, while there might be some amplification, I guess my interpretation was no bands. This is really about acoustic guitar music.
Yeah, I just don't know how best to write it.
You can put the restriction of, come on back up. I gotta use those microphones.
Sorry about that, Chris
All right.
Colantonio. Basically, would it be possible then, it's up to you, to limit the outside music to be like 5 o'clock on, not noon to 5? Or the outside, forget about the outside, forget about that, forget about outside amplification of singing and stuff from 5 o'clock on.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hard to limit it in case we have a birthday party, But to be honest with you, 90% of anything that would go on would start after that point.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, that way it
But to
eliminates.
eliminate, I might have a birthday party on a certain.
Yeah, we would deal with
date,
that when it happens.
you know,
That's not a big-
that's
yeah.
my thing. But 90% of it is only at night. when
Which
the
we're gonna
lights go
close
down
anyway, so it won't
for a
matter to
couple
us.
hours, just,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I don't have, I only have a problem with limited, it might be once a year, but if I always have the opportunity to rent that space for, it might be that one time, but
So let me offer this suggestion to you. We have another business in town, and there are restrictions on their license, but 2 or 3 times a year, for special occasions, they come in and they ask us to expand their license for that one day for a valid purpose or reason. The board makes that determination. In their situation, more often than not, we have said yes. But if we were to consider, for example, at the request of Mr. Colantoni, an outdoor restriction to, I'm going to use like 5 PM on, music is allowed. If you wanted to have that 1 or 2 exceptions a year, you could ask us to approve that. If that would be acceptable, and they would have the opportunity to come in and say, that's not good for us because of X, Y, and Z, and we could potentially consider that, but you'd have to get the board to authorize that.
Could we, I mean, is it possible just to have them get our approval and if we
Yeah, I
approve,
would
then
rather- I would rather-
Well, you'd have to come forward to us. If you protested it, we'd consider that. If you were in agreement, obviously.
I was just looking to avoid from them.
Yeah, no, the only way to do what you just said would be we grant a larger license, 12 PM to 12 AM, and you two are good neighbors and you work it out.
that's the way I would like to do it.
So,
And they always have the opportunity that, if for some reason, they always have the opportunity to go back to you guys. But I would rather keep it that way and just work it out with them when we have that thing. And obviously the noise levels too, so we're not gonna blast out. I understand he runs a business next door, I don't want it to disrupt his business. The one thing I think is gonna make a huge difference, and we won't know until we get started, is the fence we put up. I think I'm gonna block 99% of this thing, but we'll come to an agreement between the two of us, what's acceptable for noise, where no matter what I do, it'll never disrupt his business. And I would rather do that than a stipulation.
I hope it's something, if we're playing music at noontime and they have their businesses open, that it's actually even easy listening for their customers, and it's something that might even appeal to them. So, I don't know if it's necessarily negative, but if we use it discretionary with Chris and Frank, then that might be a possibility, it might be a cure.
I
Might work out better.
think the fence and stuff, the way we do it, will make a huge difference from Buffalo. But I'd rather work it out with Chris and Frank and the sister than to, keep it open that way.
let me,
See, my problem with the music being played from noon on is, what I like for music, I gotta cater to all different, you know, all different people, all different age groups, and, you know, to have music that I enjoy, I'm sure my music is gonna offend a lot of people out there, and vice versa.
No, we're not
So, I
wanting to
mean-
offend anybody. I just, like I said, I'll work it out with you and your brother and your sister. But like I said, I'd like to, see how this fence does work. And like I said, I still think it's only a couple times a year that somebody rents out and has somebody, for a birthday party, they have somebody that sings out there. But we can control the noise all the time.
If it's only gonna be a couple times a year, I'd rather put the 5 o'clock stipulation in and go in front of the board.
Yeah, we have so many, there's charities that will be running, there's birthday parties, there's events that it's tough to restrict because if
Because
they're
it's hard
renting
for
out
us
the
to
patio
sell.
area, it's
I
business
can't-
for us as
Right,
well.
I can't sell something if there's a restriction on it without knowing what there is. I got no problem with the noise control, working out with Chris and Frank, I got no problem with that. But for us to sell a birthday party or something, could be a clown out there for them, but it's hard for us to sell something with the potential to be a restriction
Well,
on it.
I think the restriction is not just anybody being out there, it's about the amplification of them being out
That's
there.
exactly-
No, and we can control the noise, that's my thing, is I'll control all the noise with you. But like I said, before we even get started, we'll get it to where it works.
Yeah, I think what might make sense is if we have the volume over there, we have you guys on the other side of the fence and we control it, and just keep it restricted, because we can set all of our amps and all of our volume controls to not exceed a specific limit. We have to do that on the inside of the building, just because you don't want to blow anything, but we could
So
probably
can we
restrict that.
write into the permit where we sign off on the volume level? I don't wanna just pick a number out of hat.
We're not able to do that, but, and there are some, it's a very difficult area when you get into concerns about noise levels, so
Yep.
you have to be very careful, and I want to be very respectful and appreciative of your future neighbor or current neighbor's concerns, so we need to be careful with that, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about the issue, but if the license is granted, I'm going to repeat this, if the license is granted Thursday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., it means that you're in control of the noise.
Yep.
So they are completely dependent on you to control that noise.
Yep.
If you agree and this board adopts a restriction on, limiting the outdoor music to acoustic only, no bands, for example, then that's going to put a restriction on you for use of the outside area. And I thought I heard you say that was acceptable.
Yep,
earlier.
absolutely.
That might be
That's
something that the
acceptable.
board can build into this. It's not going to eliminate outdoor music completely, but it's going to make it acoustic only.
Which should be fine with us.
And then, if there's a noise issue, it brings it back to the two of you need to work it out, and if that fails, then you have to bring a complaint back.
We've had differences, but
Okay.
we worked them all out, and everything has worked out well. I don't expect,
I
like I said,
appreciate that. This is a difficult issue, I know what you're
Yep.
trying to accomplish, and I respect your concerns as well. Anybody else in this room have any comments that they want to offer on this? Okay, so let me ask my colleagues. The license before you, as you know, is a full license as was requested. So the restrictions that we just discussed are not applied for. They need to be made if you so deem it appropriate in the form of a motion. And I'm going to turn to my colleagues and ask for any motions they wish to make.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to restrict exterior music to acoustic only. So I'll make that motion before we talk about.
Outside, exterior?
Exterior music to acoustic only.
And the hours of the license, are you going to?
My personal feeling generally is it sounds like they've tried to be good neighbors and work with their neighbors, and it seems like it's okay that they're discussing things, and I'd rather not put ourselves in that, put this board in between two neighbors that have seemed to be working things out. We could always revisit this when we have to renew a license in a year or a complaint were made, we could come back and deal with that issue. But I'd rather let the two business owners figure that out without us between them.
So, just for clarification purposes, the license is 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. license. Is your motion?
My motion is to
inclusive of that?
leave the hours as is, but to limit the exterior music to acoustic only.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the motion's been put on the table, are there?
I'll second that.